This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is the one that everybody wants, me. It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore! Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Welcome, everybody, to the Monday Night Raw review. It is Tuesday, January 30th, or for my co-host tonight, it's actually Wednesday, January 31st, because she is in the UK. You guys heard her last week, and it's Amanda from the UK. So she'll be joining me once again tonight to talk about Monday Night Raw on what was a massive Monday Night Raw with news and a Drew McIntyre promo for the ages and a lot of other things going on as we are officially in WrestleMania season. But before we get to all that, Amanda, I'd like to welcome you back to the show. How are you?
Oh, thanks for having me back, Matt. I'm really good, thank you. Looking forward to getting into Raw.
Well, before we get to Raw, I want to put a bow on the Royal Rumble. Obviously, big news coming out of it. What did you just your general thoughts about the Royal Rumble? I never got to hear them.
It was good. I think maybe I did the WWE fan thing that we do and overbooked it in my own head. So I think my expectations were set quite high, but I thought overall it was solid. The women's match I thought was a great match, one of the best of the night. Really pleased that Bayley won. Really nice to see that they didn't dredge up any legends in either Rumble this year, which I think is really good for the product moving forward. Both Rumbles were good, and I thought the other matches were just a bit meh. They were great matches, but nothing exciting really happened, and there was no massive returns except Andrade, I guess, on the men's, and obviously Naomi and Jade debuting on the female side, but none of the big massive surprises that we had discussed last week. But overall solid, maybe a 7 or an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that's the general feeling I'm getting. I'm about a 6 or 7 for myself. I would agree that the best thing for the product was to not bring back legends, especially for the women. The women needed to show that they didn't need to lean on the stars from decades past to fill that 30. And I think that was a big crutch over the last few years, especially towards the beginning, 5-6 years ago. It was really bad. Now it's just, we don't need anybody. And that's awesome. I don't mind a slot here and there. They do that with the men usually every year, but they didn't this year. And I have no issue with it. It's a message to the fans. Hey, we have a new generation of talent. We don't need to lean on those stars. So I think that is a good message that they conveyed.
Definitely. And I mean, how good did Jade look coming in?
Oh.
I mean, wow, what a machine. And
arguably the biggest moment of either Rumble, you could make the case that it was the biggest moment of either Rumble, especially based on crowd reaction. The crowd absolutely loved her.
Yeah, I think it was a bit like, wait, what's this music? And then you saw her and it was like, oh yeah, cool. And it was like, yeah, I had a little mini pop in my house by myself. It was cool.
Me too. No, I'm sitting there and I had to be quiet. My wife and my kid are sleeping and I'm like, I had to sit there and be quiet. I need to stop watching PLEs in bed. I need to get off out of bed and sit on a couch downstairs. And because I do these things all the time, my wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, but yeah, no, absolutely. It was a big moment. And you talk about somebody that looks like a mega star. And I don't mean to pun on LA Knight. I mean, she literally is somebody that you could design in a warehouse of how you would want a superstar to look. It's incredible. So.
Oh, yeah, no, amazing. And I think at the end as well, when we were waiting for number 30 to come in, I was sitting here thinking, oh my God, I hope it's Sasha. I can't remember what the start of Sasha's music sounds like. And then it was like Liv, and I was like, good to see her, but meh.
And that's exactly how the fans felt. It's like, we're not going to boo you. It's not a Daniel Bryan situation from years ago, but it's good to see you, but we had higher expectations. Yeah. I mean, that for either Sasha or AJ, CM Punk's wife. So people were kind of one of the two they were waiting for, and they got Liv Morgan, which is kind of like, hey, how you doing? That's kind of the way it felt. So,
exactly. But I don't know where we're left now. But
well, we're left with massive news. The biggest news to come out of the Rumble, which none of us knew until it broke the next day. And that was that CM Punk tore his triceps it was actually on a Future Shock DDT. Nothing wrong with the move. No one to blame. It's just one of those freak accidents. And I feel so bad for Punk. He comes out on Raw and he was legitimately upset, emotional, totally understandable. And he is telling us, hey, I'm not going to make WrestleMania, but I'm going to be out. I need surgery, and getting very emotional. And then we get an amazing promo from Drew. We'll get into that. But before we talk about Drew, when you heard the news that CM Punk was injured and actually going to be out for 4 to 6 months, what were you feeling? What were you thinking?
Oh, yeah, I felt gutted for him. I mean, first of all, I guess maybe all of our first thoughts were, is it a work? Like, is this real?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, you read more, like, obviously it is real. And yeah, gutted because this exact same thing happened to him in AEW as well. He's got, he's had 3 quite major injuries, I think, in 3 years or something. I was reading today. Yeah, it's really sad because, and when he spoke, it felt like it wasn't really in character at all. It felt like it was just him, and it was quite raw and quite sort of, nice to see someone actually. He's obviously really is quite upset about it, but yeah, I thought his promo was amazing. I really enjoyed it.
That's the good point here, is that it didn't feel like CM Punk speaking. It felt like Phil Brooks. It felt like the man. And that's the difference. And that's what really grabs you. That's what grabbed the audience. And he wasn't putting on a performance. He was just speaking from the heart about how, it's just not in the cards for me this year. But I'll be back next year. And it looks like the timetable is sometime in June, roughly, give or take a month or 2, depending on how his rehab goes. So he'll for sure be back in time for SummerSlam, which is good. But these injuries keep popping up. Seth Rollins out for a little while. I mean, he's still active, which is good, but Charlotte gets a massive injury. It's just not good timing, terrible timing. It does feel like CM Punk, as you said, is kind of snake bit. The timing of his injuries over his career, especially in AEW, has been a bit, like you said, just awful. I mean, just one of those, almost as if he is kind of cursed type of scenarios. And I feel really bad for him as a human being. I just, because that truly one of his dreams is to main event WrestleMania. And that was going to be one of the plans this year, and it's not going to happen. So It is absolutely devastating for him. But then we get Drew McIntyre, and I won't comment on it before you do. So I want your thoughts on Drew McIntyre and the things he said to CM Punk regarding his injury, and then obviously the attack that followed.
When I saw him came out, when I saw him come out, and he started talking, and he said something like, I've said a lot of bad things about you in the past, and I thought, oh, he's going to be so British, and he's going to say, but, sorry, old chap, this is real tough luck, and I feel really bad for saying all those things now. And then he didn't. He swerved and said, I've prayed for this. And I thought, oh, you git, you absolute swine. What a horrible thing to say. But I thought, God, his promo, he just absolutely killed it. And that I think probably, total heel, way to turn up the heat. And I can't wait to see that program when CM Punk comes back. I mean, that is gonna kill, right? I mean, but wow, yeah, just top hole heelery, brilliant.
Absolutely, maybe one of the best lines out of Drew's entire wrestling career was when he said that he's not a spiritual, never had been a spiritual guy, but he wanted Punk to know that he prayed for this and it happened. I mean, the way he delivered it, and just completely turning heel. I mean, there's no more tipping or tiptoeing on the line. He's kind of a heel, but he's also a good guy. This has finally really switched it into heel mode for Drew. It was just such an ass thing to say. What? That it felt genuine from his heart. And I don't know if you've seen it, but there is a hilarious meme going around on social media that actually Drew reposted himself. It was so good, of Drew on a grave with the tombstone, that headstone that says CM Punk's WrestleMania main event dreams. And it has Drew McIntyre laying on the grave. His face is superimposed on whoever's laying on the grave, but he's giving like the peace sign, and it just kind of like, you have to see it. So when you get a chance, if you haven't, it is absolutely hilarious, but it is it's very appropriate for the promo he had last night, which, oh my God, this was a transformational promo for Drew. Awesome promo from Punk. But this right now is some of the best work, if not to me, the best work Drew McIntyre has done in his entire WWE career.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And I mean, didn't you just hate him instantly and just think, what horrible things to say? I mean, but wow. Yeah. Awesome. Just, yeah. Phenomenal stuff.
Yeah. I mean, how often too do they bring in any kind of, they don't even talk about religion. Obviously you don't talk about religion or politics, just not what you do. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it kind of brought in that element that was bringing in how he says he's not spiritual, but he did pray for this to happen. You don't hear anyone really say that ever. I mean, that it brought in an element of life, that, you know, whether you pray or not, you understand what that means. And so it was just so unique and so deep. And like you said, you instantly hated him in that moment for saying something like that. It almost felt like that was, it crossed the line too far, but that's what made it so memorable. It was just, I loved it.
Yeah. And then when he started beating him as well, started the beat down, he thought, oh God, and he was like, stamping on Punk's arm or punching his arm or whatever he was doing. It was a bit like what Seth did to Cody before he went off for his surgery and stuff, and you just think, God, but it looked worse somehow. I don't know why. Maybe because Punk was so sorry for himself. But yeah, no, it was excellent. Such a good start. I was buzzing.
Awesome. No, I that was an amazing start to Raw. A great way to kick things off. Even though it was devastating news for Punk. And again, he says he's targeting Drew upon his return. So 4 to 6 months. Again, that's around June or so, sometime in midsummer, early summer at the absolute best time. So we will see Punk again. It's just going to take, 4 to 6 months to get there. And then hopefully he doesn't get injured again on the way to WrestleMania 41. Wherever that's taking place next year. But before that, though, we actually got a new commentary team, one that we've seen before, and Pat McAfee is now taking the place of Wade Barrett to join Michael Cole on commentary now full time. It looks like we're going to have a Michael Cole and Pat McAfee duo every single Monday night from here forward. What did you think of that announcement and Pat being on commentary?
I like him. I don't have any history with him. He's, I know he's something to do with American football over there, but he doesn't really, we don't know him over here. Well, I don't know him for that. So obviously I knew him from before, and then I knew him from the couple of, matches and stuff he's had. But I like him. He's so enthusiastic. I feel like he's a bit like a fan. So I feel like if I was on commentary, that's what I'd be like as well, jumping around and dancing and, getting far too involved. So yeah, no, I like him. Good move.
Agreed. He brings so much energy to the show. He brings a youthfulness to the show. He brings obviously a massive crossover audience. He's one of the biggest podcasters in the world. So I think that it's a win-win for everybody. Cole and McAfee have an awesome chemistry together. So this is a really big upgrade. No offense to Wade Barrett, who in his own right is really good, and he's moving to SmackDown with Corey Graves. So that's going to be the SmackDown team, which is going to be great as well. But, obviously Kevin Patrick is now gone, and he was fired last week as well, which shocked a lot of people. Obviously, I don't think he was that bad. He deserved to be fired, but I don't think there's anybody that would argue that Pat McAfee's not an upgrade over Kevin Patrick. So,
for sure. Yeah.
So then we get the first match here, and the first match on Raw was the WWE Undisputed Tag Team title match, which was Damien and Finn versus DIY. The outcome, as we know, was Priest and Balor retaining clean to beat Ciampa and Gargano, who got an awesome reaction from the Tampa crowd. I mean, they seemed like a much hotter crowd even than the Rumble crowd. in just about 13 minutes. They retained the tag team titles. And what were your thoughts on this?
I liked it. I think we had a bit of another promo before they went out saying, no, this time for the 28th week in a row, we're going to, make people take us seriously. And then out they came, the Judgment Day. But I liked the match, and actually DIY have really grown on me a lot. I like them. Really good team. And I don't know if you noticed, or maybe I just noticed this, I've never seen it before, but I felt like the camera angles in this episode were slightly different. I felt like there was a camera behind the ring post, so we got some pretty funky views when people were coming off the top rope. I don't know if you noticed, but I really enjoyed that throughout the episode, but particularly in this match. But yeah, no, I thought it was a good match. No surprise, Judgment Day winning. But no, good.
I'm glad you brought that up with the camera angles, because I forgot about it. And it was one of those things in the moment. I was like, that's kind of cool, because it's a small change. It's a small thing, but it makes the product feel a little more fresh, a little more renewed, even though it's just a small thing. It's just putting a camera in a different place. It's just a small thing. Those little things of changing up production add up to a lot. I don't need everything to be revamped and unearthed and totally changed just for change's sake. But it's just one of those things that tell fans, hey, yeah, we're trying this little new angle here. And it doesn't sound like a big deal, but like you said, when you watch it, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool, right?
Yeah, no, it's cool because it was kind of it was like a little bit wobbly as well. So it was kind of like, actually, it made you feel a bit more in it, rather than, because sometimes it is a bit staged, isn't it? Obviously, we know why it's staged, because they need to get the right angles on the shots and stuff. But yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed that. Yeah.
And like you said, the outcome was a bit predictable, but the crowd behind Ciampa and Gargano, who I would agree, they've started to grow on me as well. And if you didn't watch them in NXT, which the majority didn't, I mean, just look at the viewership numbers, you start to understand at least who and what they are. They don't cut a ton of promos, and I think that could help them moving forward, but they know that they can wrestle, and boy, can they wrestle. I mean, they are just absolute machines in the ring when it comes to wrestling holds and counters and looking smooth. And I mean, they're brilliant in the ring, and that's what's holding them together and getting the crowd support right now. But there wasn't really a serious chance they were going to lose the belts here. And after this match, though, is what kind of turned the crowd really on Judgment Day, because this is when R-Truth came out, and Priest called for Truth to join them in the ring, and said, "Don't worry, he's not going to attack him." And that's when obviously things turned, and he said, Priest told Truth, "I'm not going to do this, but so I'm going to step out," and everyone else beat him down. So and obviously the Miz comes out, tries to help. He gets beat down. What are your thoughts on Truth and Miz getting beat down after the match?
It was like, when you watch a horror movie and the young woman goes down in the basement, and you're going, no, don't go down in the basement, you're going to get stabbed or something. That's like I was thinking to Truth, just don't get in the ring. Don't get in the ring. It's so obvious what's going to happen. But of course he does. And then he gets pounded into the ground. But Miz, was obviously, in storyline mode, keeping an eye on the situation, because he knows what they're like. And it was sweet in storyline mode that Miz tried to come out and make the save, but two of them against the Judgment Day, they were never going to fare well, were they? And they got pretty much smashed. But it was quite sad, but like you say, way to turn the heat right up back on the Judgment Day, because literally everyone loves Truth, right? I mean.
Oh, everyone does. And I think Truth was slowly turning the Judgment Day into an almost entertaining group, where you kind of forgot how much you hate them, because every time you saw them, you knew Truth was going to show up, and they kind of tolerated Truth and almost accepted him at some points. But now it's very clear where they stand. They told Rhea Ripley, as you mentioned afterwards, that they're going to show everyone how serious they can be. And they did. They went back into full heel mode, which tells me this is going to be a program with Truth and Miz versus Balor and Priest for the tag titles, probably leading into a match either at Elimination Chamber, or they could string it out all the way until WrestleMania, where I think Truth and Truth and Miz are going to win the tag titles from the Judgment Day. That's my long-term booking idea based on what happened here.
Yeah, I agree, because I think they're going to want to put something on Truth, but what belt do you put on him? And I think the tag team one is probably the best option, and that would be a nice program. So yeah, no, I agree. I think maybe WrestleMania even, that would be a great, and Truth so deserves that moment of recognition, doesn't he? I think it'll be lovely.
Oh. I'd love to have him in a singles championship run, even if it's a short time. I would love to see it happen. Obviously, I don't think they're going that road, but if they're going to make him a tag team champion, I mean, that's absolutely better than nothing when it comes to Truth, and having him have a moment at WrestleMania, given everything he's contributed, and it genuinely seems like a good guy. But with Truth and Miz, I mean, we've seen them before, but that's okay. And this dynamic, it's kind of funny. This dynamic with the tag titles seems to be kind of the same one we had last year with Sami Zayn, who was in the Bloodline, who was a heel group. Sami Zayn almost turned the Bloodline heel or babyface because he was so entertaining. And then obviously the massive moment last year with Sami Zayn turning on Roman Reigns. And then you have Kevin and Sami challenging the Usos for the tag titles, and they won at WrestleMania. Here you have kind of the same thing with R-Truth infiltrating the Judgment Day. They turn on him, and now he's trying to take the tag titles, presumably, from the Judgment Day. That could lead to a story at WrestleMania. It's somewhat kind of close to last year's dynamic, and I'm not complaining. It's just an observation.
Yeah, no, absolutely, you're right. It's like the light version, isn't it? It's like this, slightly less invested in version. But you're completely right. But then, sometimes we don't need it to be all revolutionary and different, do we? If it works, and we're happy with it.
Exactly. Well, moving on to the next match here, we've got Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark versus Piper Niven and Chelsea Green, who's back with her entrance. I'm sorry, I am growing. Chelsea Green is growing on me in a way that I never cared about or thought could happen. I don't know what it is. She's so obnoxious, but endearingly obnoxious. She's just, I follow her on social media, and she's telling, she's complaining how she's going to talk to management about Zoe Stark's Z360 and how it's a dangerous maneuver and like it needs to be banned. And like, she's just so invested. I love what Chelsea Green brings. It's a shame this match was only 2 minutes long with Shayna and Zoe Stark beating Niven and Green. But I don't know. Maybe I'm off my rocker here. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on this match or Chelsea Green just generally.
No, Chelsea Green, I feel like she's a bit of a guilty pleasure, because you think you really shouldn't like her. She's an absolute pain in the ass. But, she's actually, same, growing on me. And the way she got absolutely ping-ponged around in the Rumble between Nia and Piper. Bloody hell. Oh, sorry. Yes.
No, it's fine. Wow. It's fine. All good.
Yeah. Wow. She got absolutely good for her. She got absolutely smashed. But no, I thought it was a good match. I'm also starting to like Zoe and Shayna. They seem to have been put together for quite some time now, and I wasn't sure whether it was supposed to end when it ended. I don't know if you saw, but it looked like Shayna was a little bit confused. Like she sort of like looked and sort of shrugged her shoulders a bit at the end and was like, "Huh? Well, okay." Or, maybe it was part of it. I don't know, but yeah, good stuff.
The only complaint I have about that, I mean, I did see it because this was obviously not included on the Hulu version. A lot of people watch the Hulu version. I see why this was not included, but you can still watch it on YouTube, and that's fine. But the only complaint is it continues to show the fans like that tag team wrestling for the women is not a priority. Given, this match is 2 minutes. Yeah. It's like, come on, I know they included it. It's better than not including it. But I want to see these matches. These tag team matches can't continue to be 2, 3, 4 minutes. They need to be like 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. At least maybe 10 minutes would be nice too. But 2 minutes continues to tell the fans, it's almost like we're just checking a box. We're just telling you, see, we put the women's tag team wrestling on the show, and it's about as bare minimum as you can get. Even if, Chelsea is still entertaining as hell, it is still a complaint because I still don't see consistency with the women's tag team division.
Yeah, no, totally. It's a bit disappointing, really, because actually all those 4 women can go. They're all really good talents, and yeah, you could have got 5, 6 minutes easy out of it, and really put a show on. I just hope there's a plan somewhere.
And hopefully that leads to maybe Chelsea Green winning Money in the Bank this year. I mean, that would be entertaining as hell. I think Chelsea Green is an early favorite, I think, for winning Money in the Bank this year for the women. So, all right.
She's the perfect character, perfect for it. Yeah.
Absolutely perfect, because she's the opportunist. She needs someone to be at their weakest state in order for her to cash in. It's a heel prize anyway. It would be absolutely perfect for her to win. Yes. All right. Well, then we get into something a little more serious here, and that's Cody Rhodes coming out. And this is where he said that, well, you thought he was going to announce officially that he was going to challenge Roman Reigns for the WWE Undisputed Heavyweight Championship. And we got Seth Rollins interrupting. And he came out and said that Cody does deserve it. And he acknowledged that he and Cody don't always see eye to eye, but he feels like they've developed a mutual respect, and that he wants to tell him that if he chooses Roman Reigns, that he's making a mistake, that he should challenge him instead. And then he goes into the justification as to why he should challenge him, talking about how it's Dusty's title, and how the WWE title is a frauds title or a Hollywood title, which that's the only thing I take exception to. That is like, no, that title is the longest lineage of any championship in the entire company. It has been held by every single major Hall of Famer that you can name: Austin, Rock, Hogan, Undertaker, Triple H, Kane. Like, go down the list of all the Hall of Famers. I wouldn't exactly call them frauds, but I know what he's trying to do. That he's trying to make the World Heavyweight Championship the workman's title. I get it. I know. But that statement to me was the only thing that I'm like, I don't think so, bro. Like, that's a little much. It's a little much. But he did put some doubt in Cody's mind. Cody said he would think about it. And then the segment ended. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I thought it was a great promo, and I honestly did just think that Cody was going to come out and say something, the road to WrestleMania starts now, and I'm coming for you, Roman, blah blah blah, because we'd already kind of had that set up at the end of Rumble, haven't we, where he's pointing up at the box and stuff. But yeah, I was quite surprised when Seth came out, and yes, I thought he made a really good argument for his title, but you're right, it kind of forgets. Everything he said was true about Roman. Roman has done whatever he's done, and he's an absentee champion and all that stuff. But then that, like you say, completely ignores everyone else who's held it over the years. I don't think Cody will change his mind. I think he will go for Roman. But it's kind of a little bit fun to think about, what if actually he did go for Seth? And maybe they have had to rewrite things now because of Punk. Who is Roman going to face, or who is Seth going to face? Who are those other people? So I guess, well, apparently I just looked on Twitter before we started, and apparently he's going to be at SmackDown on Friday. So I guess that maybe will be our answer then.
I did see that as well, and I don't know what to make of that. I would imagine he's going to confront Roman if Roman's there, or at least Paul Heyman, and have a discussion with him, and then make his decision on Raw the following week. I hope they don't string this out. Sometimes they string it out way too long every year. Sometimes it feels like it's going on and on and on, and we have to wait till after Chamber for somebody to make a decision. But sometimes I understand. Sometimes the championship's on the line at Chamber, and you can't have a match made for WrestleMania in which the title for that match is in jeopardy at Chamber, because then it kind of muddies the water. I understand that, but I hope we just don't have to wait too long. I believe that the Punk injury that's a massive injury for WWE, because now you don't have Seth and Cody. You have, or rather Seth and Seth and Punk. You now have Seth and potentially Gunther, potentially Cody Rhodes. But on the other side, it all depends on The Rock, because we keep getting hints that, things are in discussion, but it's a long-term thing. It might be WrestleMania 41, but then we hear opposite things. We hear, well, I don't know. I mean, things are rolling. We put things in motion. It's still going to happen this year. I mean, we keep hearing back and forth and back and forth. I can't see if Cody doesn't challenge Roman Reigns, and he challenges Seth Rollins, and it's Cody and Seth for WrestleMania. Great match, no problem. They've worked well before. It'll be an awesome match. But then who does Roman Reigns face? He has to face The Rock. To me, if that's the massive clue, right? If Cody chooses Seth, The Rock has to be challenging Roman Reigns. I just don't see any other bigger opponent for Roman at WrestleMania 40. So I don't know what your thoughts are.
I hope so. I really want to believe that. But I don't know it. Where was he at the Rumble? I was expecting something. There was nothing. And now, obviously, like you say, there's every chance that Cody might go for Seth, and the only logical match would be Rock Roman. But then, would that be for the title? I hope not, because that's kind of pointless. I don't know. I feel the creative must be, working 24/7 to try and figure out what they're going to do here, because this feels like a bit of a pivotal moment anyway, with all these big hitters. It isn't just Roman anymore, is it? You've got the roster is absolutely stacked across both brands. So many people wanting the crown.
I agree, and that's the great thing about this year is even if you take out Punk and Rock, say Rock is not coming in this year, and it was just a tease for next year. We actually don't need them. Now, WrestleMania, from a star power perspective, would be better if you bring in those stars. But even taking them away, you've got Gunther, who could compete for the world title. I know he's still the IC champion, but you can fix things there. Mm-hmm. You still have an awesome and just totally revitalized Drew McIntyre that could face Seth Rollins and win at WrestleMania and finally have his moment of becoming world champion at WrestleMania in front of a crowd. So Drew is an absolute candidate for that. You have LA Knight, who is really might be one of the biggest beneficiaries of this injury, because you have LA Knight, who was on fire, and then all of a sudden you have Randy Orton return, then you have Punk return, and people kind of not forget about LA Knight, but he gets pushed down a few pegs because they're just bigger stars than he is. So LA Knight may benefit in a big way with these injuries that have been happening. So you're right. Like, there are many options, and I don't know if there's a bad option. There's just ones that are good and ones that are better. So that's kind of it's a good problem to have. But I could see if I was involved in the creative of this, I would be pulling my hair out, man. I would be it's a lot to think about when it comes to WrestleMania. And I wonder if they even know, or if they're kind of feeling out Rock, feeling out the situation. Is Seth really going to be able to compete? Does he have a chance of not making it? They have a lot of things, a lot of moving parts, which is maybe why they haven't really committed yet.
Yeah, and also you've still got Mr. Money in the Bank knocking around.
Right.
They've got to get rid of before June, July time as well.
That's true. I keep forgetting about him, and that's a good thing, because that's what the way it should be. Is, oh my God, that's right. He's gonna, he could cash in. That's the way it should be. Like, that's why I don't want the briefcase around all the time, because you remember that they're the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, and it takes the surprise element away. But you're right. Damian Priest absolutely could cash in and become world champion at WrestleMania. He could do it right then. So
yeah, and he's on fire at the moment. He's great.
He is. He's somebody that a lot of people aren't talking about as someone who is one of the most improved stars over the last 12 months. But Damian Priest, from where he was to where he is now, it is just a complete 180. And I'm really looking forward to what a Damian Priest title reign looks like. Yeah. So good point. Yeah, he's still holding that briefcase, and that briefcase is good, I believe, for either it's good for any championship in WWE. So no one's safe. So
yeah, he could go to either brand. So actually, that might be a bit of a get out of jail free card for them as well. So I guess he won't be cashing in for a while until they get their ducks in a row.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. All right. Well, continuing on here in the interest of time, Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed. Jey Uso beats Bronson Reed in 9 minutes, and the finish was having Reed hit a Samoan drop for a near fall, and then Reed hit Jey in the corner, went up for the tsunami splash. Jey Uso avoided it. Jey speared Barrett and hit him with a top rope splash for the win. So we did get a Jey Uso victory here. And what were your thoughts on this?
I thought it was solid enough. There was nothing really super spectacular to sort of mention or to point out in the match. Always happy to see Jay get a win though. I'm still getting used to Bronson Reed. I'm not sure what I think of him yet. He's just a bit of a big old monster at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's just kind of, well, they call him Big Bronson Reed. So that's all they've got for him when it comes to personality is he's just big. He's a big Bronson Reed. It's like, right. So it's not exactly super deep yet, but that's okay. Like, I don't think that I'm not worried about Bronson Reed. They just haven't found the formula when it comes to a personality yet. And that's okay. I think that his in-ring work is still more than adequate. It's for his size. I think he does a really good job. And working with Jey Uso, who's one of the best in the company right now, is going to help you as well. So losing to Jey Uso is not a big deal. You have nearly a 10-minute match. So I don't think that they're down on Bronson Reed. They just haven't kind of found who and what he is yet. So it'll come with time.
Yeah, but, I think that's quite a nice thing. I think that Triple H has done, or Triple H and whoever else is on the team, that like if somebody comes out once or twice and they don't get amazing reaction, they don't just pull the plug. They let them have a bit of time. So they kind of did that with DIY as well. They've given them a few matches and people are now like, oh yeah, cool, we like these guys. But at first they were like, who the hell are these? So it's kind of, I like that about this new regime, because I think if it had been Vince, he would have been like, oh, let's dress him in a clown outfit or something like that, Agreed.
No, I'm with you. Things are very different under Vince versus under Triple H. Now that Vince is truly gone, it's no longer he's kind of gone, but he's really there. Like, no, he's gone now. I mean, so this is a McMahon-less WWE, and it's weird when you think about it. It's kind of wild, really. No McMahon is involved in WWE right now, from Linda to Stephanie to Shane to Vince. No one. So kind of crazy right now, and I'm not complaining. It's just I never thought I'd see the day. So
no, it's all we've ever known, isn't it? I guess our generation, we've never had a McMahon-less WWE.
No, and I don't think anyone's complaining right now. I mean, I'm not complaining. I mean, they brought us one of the best products in entertainment of all time, creating the WWE, but yeah, I mean, it's just time for a change, and they moved on. Stephanie got out of the company before the whole scandal happened. I think she probably knew more than that she let on. I think she got out before she was tied to anything. That's my own thoughts, but all right. Yeah. Well, not to get into that, because there's still a lot more of Raw here that we have to get through here in a short amount of time. Backstage, we got Andrade signing a contract for Raw, so Andrade is going to be exclusive to Raw. That's I think a good thing. He told Nick Aldis to say hello to Zelina Vega for him, and then he made his exit. Aldis did say he allowed Bayley to appear on Raw so they could have both Rumble winners on Raw. I like how they did that little detail, because oftentimes they just have people show up with no explanation. So just that little simple line that's so easy to explain why somebody from SmackDown's on Raw or vice versa. I like that. Gunther was backstage again in a promo telling him how it's a big night for Kofi Kingston, but after tonight, he's going to forget about him and forget who he is, because once the match is over, you're going to be nothing to me, essentially. And I like that from Gunther. And before we get to the actual Gunther Kofi match for the IC Championship, I don't know if you have any thoughts on some of that backstage stuff with Andrade or with Gunther's promo.
Yeah, no, I pleased to see Andrade back. I liked him before. I didn't follow him when he left, but I'm glad he's back. I like Nick Aldis. I know we're talking about Raw, but I like Nick Aldis. I like the way he's coming across and handling business. But when I look at him, I can only see the gladiator Oblivion, who he was in the UK. I don't know if you knew that, but he was a gladiator on our series of gladiators.
Really?
Seriously, yeah. Oblivion, his name was. He was a lot skinnier, but yes, he was mean.
Was it a movie?
No, you guys had American Gladiators over there.
Oh, yeah.
We had a
Yes.
version here in the 90s, and then it got rebooted in like 2007, 8, something like that. And he was one of the new gladiators called Oblivion.
No. Okay. Fun fact. I had
Yeah,
no
totally.
idea. Okay. All right. Well, we had Paul Heyman call him James Bond wannabe. He is like, if you look at some of the previous actors, and I can't remember the specific actor's name, but he does look exactly like one of the James Bond actors from
Yes.
like the late 80s or something. It's uncanny, but I love it too. Nick Aldis has been a perfect fit for this role. He may transition to in-ring at some point, but as for right now, I love everything and how he's presented, his confidence. He doesn't feel like he's questioning his decisions. He makes smart decisions. He stands up to heels. He doesn't back down. I love everything. The way that he's presented has been spot on. I think even better than Adam Pearce, who can kind of be up and down emotionally and all over the place. I love the way Nick Aldis has been presented. So
Yeah, no, he's great.
all right. Well, then we get the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther versus Kofi Kingston. A hard-fought match, 15 minutes, nearly 16 minutes. This ended with a clean victory from Gunther. Powerbomb, 1, 2, 3. But that's not before a lot of chops, a lot of physicality, a boom drop from the top rope, Trouble in Paradise, all of that, SOS. I really enjoyed this. And this is the version of Kofi Kingston I can get on board with, not the goofy New Day stuff that they've been doing for like 10 years now. This is the Kofi Kingston that created Kofi Mania for me. And one that I got a lot of people on board. You forget how good Kofi Kingston is because he's so just invested in this goofy character backstage with the New Day doing, high school boy stuff that you forget how good he is. And so, this, to me, it made sense. Gunther won. I enjoyed the match, and Gunther moves on. But after the match, there was some, beat down of of Xavier Woods and Kofi. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, the promo that they did New Day before, when they said, you don't forget that we're really good wrestlers and not just about pancakes and bootios and all that stuff. I thought that was good. I like what they're doing with them at the moment. They both, Woods and Kofi, both seem to be a lot more serious, and they've even sort of revised their ring gear so it's not so cartoony and childish. And I thought it was a great match. Really physical, really, really good. I don't think it was ever in any doubt. I don't think anyone really thought Kofi had a chance, but a great match. And then obviously shenanigans afterwards with those two dastardly so-and-sos, Vinci and Kaiser. That was it. But yeah.
It felt like a spot, honestly, at the end where I'm like, oh, if Big E was about to come back, this would be a good spot for him to come back, right? Because you have Gunther and you have Kaiser and Vinci, and now they're outnumbered.
Yeah, I thought, wouldn't that be cool? Because Gunther had his back to where they would come down as well, and I thought, oh man, that would be cool if Big E just came and smacked him from behind. But he's obviously not quite there. But maybe that's where we're going, because then it'll be 3-on-3. That'll be cool.
It seems like it's a perfect setup, but also I keep hearing conflicting reports with his health, and the doctors won't clear him. He's good, then he's not. I mean, it's a serious thing with your neck is like the one thing. I mean, you don't, and I totally agree. And the doctors won't clear him. You don't go back until you're 100% cleared from the doctor and from WWE's medical staff. So, it feels like it's been 4 years since we've seen Big E, and I'm just glad that he's, first of all, walking. Given, if I watched that injury the other day from SmackDown from a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, and I'm just like, man, if anyone else took that move, they would have broken their neck. I mean, it's a brutal injury. So
yeah, no, it's horrible. It was what's his name from Brawling Brutes, wasn't
Ridge
it?
the Fridge, yeah, Ridge Holland.
Yeah, Ridge Holland. Yeah, bless him. Must have felt terrible about that. What a terrible thing to do. But yeah, so. Yeah. Hopefully he'll be back, but if not, hopefully at least he's healthy.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, certainly you prioritize your long-term health over just coming back to wrestle, but it does seem like there is something of a setup here for potentially Big E to return, and you could see maybe Big E returning at WrestleMania, or again. I feel like there's been a million opportunities for Big E to return. Many people predicted him in the Rumble, and that didn't happen. But hopefully he does come back soon. I when he wasn't the goofy, gyrating Big E, I enjoyed the hell out of him. So he can wrestle.
Same here.
So, yeah. All right. Well, then we get to the women's tag team champions, the Kabuki Warriors, who took on Tegan Nox and Natalya in a non-title match. This actually got nearly 10 minutes. As I was just complaining, the women's tag team division doesn't get a whole lot of love. This does, but I think it's because they were the tag team champions. If you're not the tag team champions, you get 2 minutes. But still, this ended with the tag team the Kabuki Warriors beating Tegan Nox and Natalya in about 10 minutes. And what did you think about this, as the crowd seemed kind of quiet for it?
Yeah, I thought they were really quiet. I really like the Kabuki Warriors. I think they're gonna be good. That's gonna be good. Tegan and Natalya, I just think yawn. Like, what the Rumble? Like, Tegan took out Natalya, or Natalya took out Tegan. One of the other of them. But that was just like, it wasn't even mentioned. Like, why would you then? I don't like them as a pair. I don't think they've got much chemistry. I get why they've been teamed up, because obviously, Natalya being a veteran, and, Tegan, one of Triple H's sort of prodigies, I guess. She's had a couple of real bad injuries. But yeah, I just feel meh, really, about them.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's just not there's not much there. They're just kind of put together. And I'm actually, as much as I'm down and bored by them, like you said, yawn, I actually don't want them to split up, because I want there to be an actual women's tag team division instead of one randomly thrown together as some kind of mirage before WrestleMania to pretend there's a women's tag team division. So I'm cool with them staying together for the sake of actually making it a legitimate tag team division for the women, just like to be a part of it. So I will sacrifice yawning for the women actually having a division where they have a championship that is representative of a division that exists. So that's my take on that. But yeah, the Kabuki Warriors are a lot of fun. I don't think that Kairi Sane has really gotten the reaction she deserves. I mean, she got one of the most. She returned in Saudi Arabia, which wasn't exactly the best place for her to return this year. If you think about what Saudi Arabia, well, the politics of that is not exactly the best place for her to debut. I'll just say that. Yeah. And the crowd reacted very silently to her when she returned. I felt bad for her. And since then, she hasn't even got a whole lot of love from the WWE fans, to be honest. So.
No, I really like her. And she went during the pandemic, didn't she? She just sort of disappeared, I remember, because she was paired with Asuka at that time as well. And there was no sort of, I don't recall there really being a proper explanation. It was just like, she's kind of homesick, so she's now left, and then she was back. But no, I like them, and I think they'll do a lot of donkey work getting, the division on a more firmer footing, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm all for the women actually having a division. And I was advocating for the women's tag team titles to be dissolved until they had a division, because everyone that got them seemed snake bit. And then they had tag team champions that were unopposed. No other team existed. So, I mean, yeah, they're trying here, and I give them credit for that. But I still want more time dedicated to the tag team division for the women. On a 3-hour show, you think they could do it, but all right. Well, moving on here, we then got a Bayley introduction here as the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble match. She said she told the fans she would give them a rare opportunity to take a picture of Damage Control, and she said all the success is due to her. So she's still being a heel. The crowd wasn't really buying into it, though. They didn't boo her too much. They were kind of ready for her to turn on Io, and it hasn't happened yet. But she said everyone said Damage Control was going to be a flop, and that she wasn't as good as she was before her injury, but she doesn't listen to all the negativity. Well, obviously, first of all, she does if she's commenting on it, but that's neither here nor there. Bayley said that at a time when they have the most stacked and talented roster, she came out on top, and that she talked about her 63 minutes in the record, in the Rumble match, and Rhea's record. And that's when Rhea Ripley comes out and said that, did you really accomplish anything? And that's when Nia Jax came out and attacked Rhea Ripley from behind viciously, hit her with the Annihilator, left her laying in the ring. and then had Bayley cowering in the corner. And Bayley said that if Jax had let her finish, she was going to say she'll make her decision on Friday's SmackDown. So we will get a decision from Bayley on SmackDown, and I think we all know where she's going to go with that. But what did you think of Nia Jax's attack on Rhea Ripley and Bayley's promo in general?
I was surprised. Bayley's promo excellent, and a lot of truth in what she was saying. I was wondering, is this the Triple H thumbs down moment where Randy got thrown off the back of Batista or whenever it was yonkers ago? I thought, is this that moment where Damage Control is just going to turn on her? But they're keeping that. Then obviously Nia came out and spoiled the party, which I was a bit surprised. I wasn't expecting it necessarily, but I don't hate it. I think she had a good showing at the Rumble. She was responsible for a couple of botches, wasn't she, in the Rumble? But everyone was. No one covered themselves particularly in glory, I don't think. But yeah, no, that'll be interesting. But then I thought we wanted Becky Rhea, maybe a bit more, but I'm not sure. Let's see how it plays out, I guess. It is kind of weird that Nia Jax decided to attack Rhea Ripley. My thought is that maybe she's going to challenge Rhea at Elimination Chamber, and there's no chance Nia Jax is going to win, you wouldn't think. At the same time, Nia Jax, who, and I have not been a big supporter of hers, admittedly, is doing some really good work, probably the best work of her entire career right now in WWE. As much as you may not like, and I'm not a big fan of Nia Jax, she has done a lot more than I think anyone thought she was capable of. She's found her voice on the microphone. She's found confidence on the microphone that she didn't have before. She is definitely looks like a dominant force inside the ring, not just because of her size, but because of really her agility. I mean, she does have some agility for being a bigger woman. She does. Those leg drops she delivers look devastating. I mean, how many times does a leg drop look devastating? And she makes it look really nice. And Rhea Ripley doing some nice selling there. And we don't know what's going on with Becky. I would imagine it's still going to be Becky versus Rhea. I can't imagine it's going to be Nia Rhea. That doesn't make any sense for WrestleMania. So Becky Rhea seems to be the place they're going. But if that's the case, Becky Lynch has a lot of repair to do on her character. I talked about this in my Rumble review. Becky Lynch didn't have almost any offense in the Royal Rumble. She essentially was a ragdoll the whole time. Outside of coming out and getting that quick flurry in the beginning, she almost did nothing in the Rumble. She's been kind of depressing to watch in promos. They can revive her, but there's some repair to do to make us believe she can actually dethrone Rhea Ripley if that's the plan for WrestleMania. Yeah, she pretty much sucked at the Rumble. She didn't do good, and I think maybe Nia and Rhea in Elimination Chamber, but that's in Australia, So there's no way they're going to let the Aussies will riot if Rhea loses the title in her home country.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I did. That in Australia there is no chance. There is no one you could put up against Rhea Ripley. No one that would get cheered over Rhea Ripley. There's nothing they can do. They might as well not even try. They don't even bother. I mean, whoever you put against her is an instant heel. It could be Becky. It could be China coming from the grave. It could be, anyone. And they're not going to, but none. So that's a very good point to bring up. So Rhea Ripley is going to probably get one of the biggest pops, if not the biggest pop of the night, do I dare say, in Elimination Chamber. So,
oh, yeah. I mean, gosh, yeah. I mean, the Aussies, they are a passionate gang. And, the guy we were talking about earlier, the big guy, I think he's from New Zealand,
Bronson Reed
he might also get a decent pop. But yeah,
true. That is very true. Yes, and there's not too many Australians or New Zealanders that are wrestlers in WWE. So when they get one, they're going to cling on to them, and they are, like you said, they are going to be a passionate bunch, especially given that they never get any PLEs over there. So. This is going to be
a party. It'll be a good party because the Aussies, they know how to have a party as well.
That is true. Yes. So, it's going to make the U.S. crowds, and admittedly, we are some of the weakest crowds of all time. When you look at when you guys go overseas, the O2 Arena, or you go to, they went to Puerto Rico earlier this year. or even Saudi Arabia, although this year was kind of low key. All those international crowds kill it. I mean, then they come back to the US and it's like we're just sleeping the whole time. So
yeah, we love it.
You guys make us look bad, but I understand why. I mean, I love watching international crowds. It's like, this is how a wrestling crowd should be. You guys you set the bar way too high, and then you come back to the US and we're like, yeah, I mean, we're not gonna be able to compete with that. So, you make us look like garbage, but I have no issue with it, because every time they go to a foreign country or an international country, I'm like, this is going to be awesome. So, all right. Well, let's continue on here as we have the main event, Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. And this one went 13 minutes, and it went it ended kind of strange, but it ended in a way that, you could say that McIntyre didn't mean to low blow Sami Zayn. And that was kind of weird, given that Drew just fully turned heel. You would think he would just continue with that and hit a purposeful low blow behind the referee's back. But it's fine. It still fits his character of taking advantage of the situation, as McIntyre accidentally, quote unquote, maybe it was, low blowed Sami. Claymore, 1, 2, 3, and McIntyre gets the victory over Sami Zayn. So what are your thoughts on the main event here?
It's nice to see Sami back. And, having a straight into something pretty productive. I like to see that. That was good. And yeah, I mean, why not just own it, Drew? You've just turned yourself into the heeliest heel of the week. Just own the fact that you low blowed him and get on with it. But that was a good match. I really like Sami. Hopefully he's got something good coming up in the future.
Yeah, it does make you wonder what Sami's going to do moving forward. I don't know. He could continue to just feud with Drew. Given the way things ended here, I would think it's possible. But I also believe he's probably going to be in the chamber match as one of the 6 men who are going to, likely compete for a number 1 contendership, or it could be the world title on the line itself. I mean, we don't know yet. For the chamber, or the chamber could be for Roman's title. There's so many things up in the air, but if there's a chamber match for Raw, you can bet that Drew and Sami are going to be involved, or even Jey Uso as well. There's 6 spots for it. So the chamber's only now next week. It's going to be 3 weeks away next week. So that means that they don't have a whole lot of TV time to put that match together. And it's got to be a big one if it's in Perth, Australia. And Punk was slated to compete in that event, but obviously that's not happening now. So yeah, there's just a lot WWE has to figure out with all these injuries, and hopefully they won't get any more.
Well, God, yeah, definitely. I mean, the roster is deep and strong, but not that not that deep and strong. They need to stop having these injuries now.
Yeah, I mean, I keep hearing. Well, I don't hear it. I know it's true that a lot of things happen bad. Bad things happen in threes, right? So but did we get 3 injuries already? We got the Seth Rollins, we got the Charlotte, and we got Punk. So maybe that is our 3rd, and we're good. So yeah, let's fingers crossed. I mean, so but it just reminds you too of also the humanity of the thing of being a wrestler and seeing your biggest event coming in front of you, and all of a sudden you're taken out with just a stupid freak injury that's no one's fault. And it's got to be devastating from a professional and personal standpoint, and also reminds you of how physical this sport is. People say, "Oh, it's fake." Oh, yeah, but the injuries are real. So it can't be fake and have real injuries. It's not. It can't. You can't have that. So I just I hope there are no more, and I just hope we get this main event situation figured out with who's facing Roman, who's facing Seth, and let's get on with it. But I don't think, honestly, we're going to have that clear picture until probably after the Elimination Chamber in 3.5 weeks.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, it's an exciting time to be a fan, isn't it? Because there's so many ways that we could fantasy book this. I mean, you could talk about it for hours, and you still probably wouldn't come up with the right one that they do in the end.
No, that's the thing. I mean, I'm almost tired of talking about how Roman's going to do this. Is he going to get dethroned? Is it The Rock? Is it a triple threat with Cody and Rock and Roman? Is The Rock going to even compete this year? Is Cody going to be there's just, I'm almost to the point of exhaustion with it, and just tell me what it is so I can stop trying to pretend I know what's going to happen. like I'm getting close to that point because we've been trying to figure this out for months. And with now the injuries happening, that changes things, and you're hearing conflicting reports all the time. And it's just like, all right, I kind of throw my hands up and just like, all right, just tell me so I can stop trying to, rack my brain and short circuit my neurons in my head, right? So, but all right, well, I'll stop there for Raw. But if you have anything that I didn't mention or you wanted to bring up, well, the floor is yours.
No, my only point really, just to go back onto Roman, is how predictable and by numbers was his match at Rumble. I mean, shock. There's a ref bump and shock. Solo comes in. Why did he bother wearing a hood? We all knew who it was. Like,
yeah, why does he even need to wear a hood at this point? It's a fatal 4-way, which means there's no rules, which don't even get me started on why that exists all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, but beside that, put that aside. Like, why do we need to see who's he hiding from? I mean,
yeah, exactly. It's like,
you're not a surprise anymore, and also you don't need to hide your identity from anyone, from the referee or anyone. You could do it in front of the referee, and he can't do anything. So, like, I don't know. I guess it's for effect. It's for the drama. Yeah, I guess that's the purpose of it.
Yeah, I did. That was all I had in addition, really. I just thought that was particularly dull.
Well, we've seen the same finish for how many years? Literally years now. So it's the same
I think it's like 3
finish.
Years.
Yeah, and I hate to say that, given the fact that Roman has improved night and day in his character and in ring everything. He is one of the most intriguing characters. Yet at the same time, can we say his matches are actually boring because we know exactly how it's going to end almost every single time? It's weird. Like, the matches are good from a wrestling quality perspective, but they're also super boring. It's kind of like, how can both be true?
Yeah, no, super slow and ploddy, but his actual, like, his wrestling is good, but always the same. But like you say, like, when you compare him to the guy who got handcuffed to the ring and covered in dog food, yonks ago, I mean, 100% better. That was all nonsense. But, oh, God, just make it stop, please.
Was that Baron Corbin? I think that was Baron Corbin. Who
it was Baron Corbin with somebody else, and I can't remember, but I remember thinking, I think it might be time for me to stop watching this now.
That was because he's the big dog. At the time, he was the big dog, so he covered him in dog food. I mean, if that doesn't scream Vince McMahon, I mean, I don't know what does. That is right from Vince McMahon. It's like he woke up and he's like, "Damn it, I have I have an awesome idea for SmackDown." And it's like, that was right from Vince's brain. It was awful. I agree. That was terrible. There was a lot of terribleness with the big dog character, I have to say. A lot of terribleness. So that's when he became the tribal chief. It was a breath of fresh air. It's just his match. The matches, the 4 he has a year now are just like, I know how it's going to end here. And I mean, there's a real chance he could drop it at WrestleMania 40, and a very real chance. It just depends who his opponent is. If it's The Rock, there's zero chance The Rock is winning. Almost zero. If it's Cody, there's a very good chance that he's dropping the championship at WrestleMania 40. So still, I mean, so much to so much to think about, so much to discuss. And you do wonder if WWE is ultimately going to say, you know what, guys, screw it. I know the fans are going to lose their minds, but we're never going to get a chance again to beat Hogan's record. We're going all the way to September so we can beat Hogan's record. I still believe that's on the table.
Oh, God.
I mean, well, every time we think, he's beaten, Cody can't lose at WrestleMania 39. He loses at WrestleMania 39, right? So every time we think they're not going to continue it, they continue it. So I'm just saying.
They really hate us, right?
I know. Well, the good thing is Vince isn't here anymore, and Triple H seems to be a little bit more understanding of, from a fan's perspective, what we really want and when to give it to us. Vince was just like, no. It was almost a war of attrition with the fans. I'm doing this. I know better than you. So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Everything is crossed, so it'll be Cody, and he'll get to finish his stupid story, and we can be free.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like, we can get rid of his story. He can stop talking about that. I never want to hear that phrase again.
Yeah.
We can stop hearing that phrase, and also Roman's reign ends, and we kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and then probably the thing is, when Cody if he does beat Roman, this is probably going to be at least a year-long reign. Like, we're going to have a very long reign from a babyface champion, whoever beats Roman, if it's Cody or whoever. So we're going to be in store also for that person to hold on to the belt for a while. So
it's true, but they can't defend less than Roman. So at least we'll always have hope, because at the moment you think there's maybe only 4 defenses a year and we have no hope that he's ever dropping it. Whereas, maybe every PLE somebody will defend, and you can always hope, I hope he loses, and then he doesn't, or whatever,
right. Very true. No, that's a fair point. But we're in the thick of it now, and we're officially in WrestleMania season, and so we are now at the point where we can start to really look at this and say, all right, who are the major champions? Is Gunther going to drop it? I think he probably will drop the IC belt, and obviously Roman and Seth. We could have a new Intercontinental, a new World, and a new WWE Universal Undisputed Champion come WrestleMania 40. There's a very good chance all 3 are going to change hands at WrestleMania 40 this year, which is kind of I think noteworthy, given that last year we didn't have that. So all right. Well, Amanda, this has been a whole lot of fun. As always, I appreciate you staying up late. Again, guys, if you're not listening from the UK, 5-hour difference. So it's 9 p.m. here. It's 2 a.m. there. So we should all give Amanda a round of applause here for sticking with us, so she can now mercifully go to sleep. So
thank you.
All right. Well, Amanda, thank you so much as always. And we'll be in touch very soon.
Thanks, Matt. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.